Okay. Hi, Patricia. So I can start?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Good morning, everyone. Well, it's again a pleasure to be with you in this last part of my guest lecture. I hope you enjoy the first two videos regarding to software measurement framework. And in this part, I will cover how to use the different elements of the measurement framework to create a measurement plan. And I hope also with this third part, some of your questions that you have now in mind can be answered. And of course, we will have also some time for answering the questions. So let's start with next slide. As you can see here, the measurement plan consists mainly on two parts. The first is what needs to be measured. So the plan starts with the definition of the measurement goal, and then we have to characterize the objects to be measured. And once the objects to be measured are characterized, we identify the metrics. And as a second part, we have the whole part. In this second part, we mainly focus on the collection and the data collection plan. So how this, you see, we start with the definition of the measurement goal. But as you remember, you created a decision map. This decision map was an instrument to specify which sustainability goal you are aiming to achieve. So what is the relation of the sustainability goal and the measurement goal? So if you see here, I think this picture answers the question because you can see the GQM graph. This is a goal question metric graph, contributes to the achievement of your sustainability goal. And also the sustainability goal is measured by means of a GQM graph or a set of GQM graphs. The GQM graph is the approach that we are you should apply to define the measurement goal. And this measurement goal, this approach has three different parts. We have the conceptual level that includes the goals, the conceptual, and then we have the operational level where we define the questions, okay, where this is the part of the questions are derived based on the goal. And the third level, and this part is of the graph, is the quantitative level, where the metrics are identified or are defined. So having these three levels, we build our goal, question, and metric graph. Well, so let's start with the measurement goal definition. Here it's very important to know what kind of objects and corresponding attributes want to be measured. What are the measurement viewpoints that will be to consider. And who are the intended users? Who are these users that are going to use the measurement results? So knowing that, we can complete a structure GQM template. The structure of the GQM template looks like this table and consists of these 5 parts. Analyze for the purpose of, with respect to, from the viewpoint of, and in the context of. So once we answer this important information regarding the object, the attributes, the viewpoint, we will able to complete this template. How? For example, if we want to evaluate the customer satisfaction, that is related to one of the sustainability goals, our measurement goal, if we define using the GQM template, we have this structure. So the object that is measured corresponds to analyze. So what we analyze, the object under measurement. What is the purpose of the measurement? We have to say what is the role, the measurement role. If you, in our previous videos, the measurement role, just for reminding, we have different type of purpose. We conduct measurement, for example, for assessing, or for improving, or for understanding, for prediction. There are different purposes that correspond to the measurement role. And the attribute of the object is the part when we specify with respect to. We say with respect to, we analyze certain object with respect to this attribute. So the attribute, that is also the property of the object. And from the viewpoint is the measurement viewpoint that you know already from the framework. And this last part is also important because we say in which context the measurement will happen. For example, is the environment in which the measurement is carried out. So knowing that, we have the object, for the example that we say evaluation of the customer satisfaction based on the case that we use as an example for building and in your decision bank, identifying the elements of the framework. Thus, about the public transportation, one of the features was the travel planner, one of these features. So the object for here is analyze the travel planner feature for the purpose of, and you say we want to assess the customer satisfaction. So the purpose is assessing, and with respect, we say the customer satisfaction. The viewpoint depends, and here we are considering from the viewpoint of passengers, and that's are being tactical or technical, but here we are considering as a tactical view. In the context of passengers using the travel planner during rush hour. So we are being more specific in the environment in which the measurement is being carried out. So with this are using the elements of the framework, we define our goal measurement following this template. So that is more clear. Having this, the goal, we can now start identifying our questions, formulating our questions. This is the second level of the graph, GQM. And for formulating these questions, we should consider 3 groups of questions. that can help in doing the formulation of the questions. So in general, we can ask, for example, questions regarding the characterization of the object with respect to the overall goal, or questions regards to the characterization of the attributes of the object, the properties of the object that are relevant with respect to the issue of the specific UN model. And the last part, the group 3, is about how do we evaluate the characteristics or attributes of the object that are relevant with respect to the issue of the specific the goal, that the measurement goal that we define it. So let's see an example having these questions based on our goal for the assessing customer satisfaction of the travel planner feature, and where we can formulate a set of questions that are derived from this goal. So, for example, we had one question: what is the current response time of the travel planner feature? This question is to understand more about the travel planner feature itself. What is the current response? We are not just directly measuring or answering a question regarding the customer satisfaction. We are first starting formulating questions that is related to the object, to understand more the object. And then we have another questions regarding to the travel planner feature, but then having that questions, then and knowing also the definitions, what we understand for satisfaction, and that is important in the definition of the attribute, we can start also asking more specific questions regarding the attributes. In this case, satisfaction, according to the SQ model that you know, and we have the trust, an attribute that is defined as satisfaction. Satisfaction is defined based on trust, and that's why we have another question. We say, what was the information provided by the travel planner trusted by passengers? Or another question is, how satisfied are the passengers with the travel planner during rush hour? We can formulate several questions, even if the same attribute, because if we are referring to the same attribute, we can formulate more than one question, because then for each question we can identify different metrics as well. So it's not a relation just one attribute, one question. You can formulate several questions for the attributes itself. And that's the examples of questions that we have from different, just for this example, customer satisfaction. And then once the goal is defined, we formulate a set of questions that that means that we have the last part of the part that is the identification of the metrics. That is one important, I would say, the outcomes of this part, that we then with the metrics that are selected, that will be part of our measurement plan. How we identify metrics. So the GQM graph aims to help us to identify the meaningful metrics for answering our questions. That these questions are derived from the measurement goal. So here, for the selection of the metrics, should try to provide information in answering all the questions that we have. Okay, so it's important to be here, be very practical, also realistic, and pragmatic. And when you identify all these metrics, we can, of course, have many metrics, but according to the resources that you have for conducting your measurement in your plan, you should select the metrics that could be more realistic to be conducted, so according to the resources that you have for conducting the measurement plan, the measurement itself. So that's why I say be practical, realistic, and pragmatic. Also, it's important to keep in mind that the measurement can be objective, but also subjective. Objective is they depend only on the object that is being measured and not on the viewpoint from which we are taken. But actually, according to our framework, we always say we consider the viewpoint. What is the viewpoint as one of the elements of this framework? That means that the object is being measured, and also the viewpoint at which we are taken. So that means that are having this subjective part on our measurement. Even we want to be objective, then for the interpretation, there will be some kind of level of subjectivity. So then let's go for the examples of metrics. These are the questions that I showed you in the previous slides, the questions that we derived from for our example of customer satisfaction. And here I put some metrics for that will provide information for answering each question. Example, total number of user feedback received weekly, or percentage of positive feedback received weekly, number of incidents related to the planned public transport per month. So there are these examples of metrics. And if we want to have an overview of our graph, once we have the metrics defined as identifier, we can have this graph where we put here start with the root of the graph is the goal. And this goal is not following the template as you see, which is just in a summary or in very short important keywords. That's what is the goal. And then we have the questions in the second level, and then the metrics that are contributing to answer the questions. So that will be the GQM graph finally built. And then this, you see, following our cycle, we have then the second part, that is the whole part. No? How we should start creating the data collection plan where the selected metrics or the identified metrics are the input for the data collection plan. And additional to this input to the metrics that were selected, we have to include also information in this in the description of the plan, information regarding where the measurement or the collection of this of the measures will do, where, how this collection will do, when, and who will do the collection. So that is a part of the data collection plan. And this plan is prepared for each metric. So then say why I have to make this planning? Why it's important to do the planning of the data collection? Because when you design the plan, are not the same people, usually are not the same people that will actually collect the data. So if we have this plan, we have clarity, and also this will help in safe effort time for communication between the team, the members of the team, okay, and explaining what have to do. If we have this plan, that will be good for executing your measurements. As I say, this the measurement plan is this all the metrics that we have, and metric for each metric we start describing what is the type of scale of the metric, how is the measurement performed. So it's automatic, it's manual, it's partial. It's automatic means that we are using any kind of tool that will help in getting some of these metrics. No? For example, eye tracking is an instrument and kind of tool that's helping collecting automatically some metrics. Then we have when in the next column here is when the collection is happening, where also it's important to see the sampling. We have different kind of sampling techniques, and the most common use is the sample random, but sometimes the people are approached by convenience, and there is no using any sample random, but there is another technique of sampling too. For example, here we have systematic sample, stratified sample, cluster sample, and it will depend on the problem, the questions that you have, the measurement goal, and which kind of sample that will be appropriate for your the goal that you are aiming to achieve. And then is the responsibility, who no? Is the person responsible of conducting the measurement. And that's all. Well, I see, for example, in this example is the software company, but can be also the passengers or any stakeholder that are involved, and that can be taken responsibilities or not. And with this presentation, as recapping, we saw that this last part, that is applying and using the elements of the measurement framework for creating our measurement plan. And I think that's all.
I have a question, Nelly.
Yes.
Yes. So just a small question. So before you mentioned objective and subjective measurements, I was wondering, as examples, if question 1, which was basically response time, if I remember correctly, of the feature, could be classified as objective, and question 3, that was about understanding how trusted from the passenger the provided information is of the type subjective.
Yes, that are examples of where good examples that you are saying. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Are there other questions, anybody?
The data collection plan should look like this. You have information regarding all this part, where, how, when, and who. And this will be for each metric. And that's And one way of organizing this, that should be organized as a table where you see in the rows the metrics that comes from your GQM graph, and then you specify the information regarding responsibilities, who, when and where, all this. This looks like this.
Let me rephrase. I don't have the assignment description in front of me, but out of my head, you are requested to define your sustainability goal, and this is the starting point of defining the data collection plan. You map that on the goal question metric approach, and then these on the all elements of this table, which is quite systematic. Is that correct, Nelly?
Yeah. So the plan is, this is a data collection plan, but of course, all this metric now here are just codes, right? But you should include the measurement goal, the template, the GQM graph, the measurement goal template, and once these elements are you define the GQM approach, you can build as last part the data collection plan.
It is possible that you have multiple goals, but we request at least one. Yeah. So, and in doing so, as we discussed last week, we want you to think what is really important for your specific case. Yeah. So it's not something that is easy or to express, but also which must be relevant and important for the problem. Yeah, for sustainability. Yeah.
Okay, so the first question that is the top voted one, which we got from the students last week, it's about like how to assess the quality of measurement.
Yeah. Well, this question is very good, nice question, and also I see there was many of you were having this question in mind, and of course it's important, the assessment of the quality of measurement and how. In this slide that I didn't mention anything about how to assess or how to validate. I will use more the validation, but it's important to see some characteristics. When I talk about the quality of measurement, what are the characteristics of the quality of measurement? When I say measurement has good quality, at least we should consider three characteristics. Well, I would say two: precision and accuracy. And precision means based on it is our measures are repeatable and reproducible. And the accuracy are referred to how close our measurement results are to the true value. That's why also the accuracy are also named as a trueness. So the validation should be carried out in an empirical environment of the assessment. No? For example, if we want to see is repeatable, if our measures are repeatable, means that we are using the same instrument, the same measurement methods or procedure or metric with the same evaluator, the same assessor, the person that is conducting the measurement in the same conditions of the same object, and we repeat this several times and we obtain the same value. That means that is repeatable. However, when we say reproducible, is reproducible because it's a kind of repetition, but in different with different evaluators. There are different individuals involved in using the metrics for measuring the same object. And this implies different conditions, environments, different locations. Usually the reproducibility, we conduct the reproducibility in a more inter-laboratories, the different labs, laboratory experiments, and the repeatability are more within the same one experiment. We are doing this, everything will get the same value. And then there is a formula to combine this repeatability and reproducibility that combine, and we can get an index of precision, a value of precision. And what is this formula? This formula comes from the ISO standard 572025. This is the ISO standard for assessing the precision. I wrote on a paper many years ago, about a method for evaluating the precision of software measures. Can also share with you this paper by chat, when you will get more detail about the validation of the precision, as one of the characteristics of the quality of the measurement. The other part is about the accuracy, and this part in the accuracy is even the definition is simple definition, how close we are with the true value. The tricky part is in defining this true value, how we define the true value. In the physical world, the true value is, we have some standards and methods that thanks to these standards measurement methods, then we can compare other measurement procedures with how close we are with these standards. In software, well, now I will talk in software engineering as the discipline to create solutions, software service solutions. So in this case, for achieving certain sustainability goal, well, we lack of this. There are a lack of these standards, and most of the practice that we have, most of them are defined by agreement or of a team of experts or just a group of teams of the same company that agreed on having a reference value that make the comparison to consider as a to obtain how accurate are. So how is the way defining? Sometimes that's modified by convention too. And I think that will be, I will share this, the paper I say for assessing, as I say in short words, is needs to conduct more empirical environment for the validation. That can be experiments for that, and for assessing this quality of measurement. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, very good explanation. If I may, maybe you can share on Canvas the link to this paper that you mentioned before, and also for the VUE students, you know that you have in period 3 this course, research methods and study design. Sorry. So there you learn also different methods, study qualitative and quantitative type of study. So of course, in the context of the work, this course is specifically quantitative, but then addressing the quality of the measures themselves is linked to how well we design the study itself, which we will learn later on.
Mhm.
Next one is how can we make sure that sustainability metrics are used as means to an end and don't become an end in itself?
Okay. Well, we know that metrics provide information, but we also have to accept that just provide this information and people can use this information to make decisions. So metrics is also important to see that the metrics don't solve problems. People solve problems. So that's why the metrics are used as a means. And also it's important to be aware that when we measure, when we conduct the measurement, we have to aware on that all measurements are subject to uncertainty. And a measurement result is complete only when we give the result of what is the result we measure, but also associating this uncertainty. And most of us, including me, I use metrics, but never I include the uncertainty. And this that is as important for knowing that is a means that but not the end, no. Because now we know that our measurements are subject for having some errors in the measurement, and that should be just the means to do.
The next one is how can we determine which measurement metrics contribute to which sustainability domain?
For that, I think the question for that will be related the UQN graph. I hope when you build the UQN graph, helps you in identifying which metrics and which metrics. But of course, as you see, the GQN graph comes from the questions, and the questions that you are formulating, some of these questions are related to the attributes. And the attributes, if you use the SQ model, in the SQ model, you can see which are the attributes that you have in the SQ model contributes to the certain dimension. So, using the SQ model and the UQN graph, you should, I think, be able in selecting the metrics for certain, that will contribute certain dimension of sustainability.
I hope it answers your question. Nelly, do you still have time?
I have for 5 minutes more, yeah. Well, now, yes, 5 minutes. No, a little less than 5 minutes. I have to run to the other place.
The last one, probably. How should you consider causal effects and side effects when implementing a measurement model?
Yeah. The causal effects, it means like something has happened or is happening based on something that has occurred, no, or is occurring. For example, A happened because of A, no? It's a causal effect. And the causal effect in here, how we can see in using our measurement framework, when we characterize the objects, questions related to the characterization of the objects should help in answering, in understanding the causal effect, why it's happening, and why, because of why, no? It's not just a matter of characterization, the attribute that you are aiming to measure. It's also important of characterization, the object that you are measuring. Also in the data collection, you see we're not including only metrics, but the implicit metrics, no? But it's with the metrics related to the attribute. Is that metrics related to the object and the relation between the object and the attribute. And also that will be nice to consider some additional information, like for example, it's very it is a good practice, no? The kind of demographic questions that helps in understanding and characterizing the phenomena or the object that we are aiming to measure for having this and addressing the causal effect. And having additional qualifiers, no? And in collecting these additional qualifiers. The side effect, well, means that it's more a secondary effect, usually is an adverse effect that occurs in addition to the intended effect. So many measurements around us are failing, no? In fact, this, for example, in a company, I want to measure the performance of my developers, but these measurements are not promoting the creativity in my company. And these are having creating some adverse side effects. So where in our measurement framework the side effects, how can be addressed, that could be, because that's important to see what we are measuring is most important. And I will say when we validate the metrics, the precision, the accuracy is a way to reduce these side effects, I think, because we are trying to see what we are really measuring.
Does that answer your question? I hope it's clear. Thank you, Nelly, for your time.
Thank you, and I just on time. I will say goodbye and enjoy with your last assignment. Bye.
So let's take a 10 minutes break, then we'll have our retrospective session.
Yes. So my suggestion is, as usual, try to do as much as possible before Thursday, so that you get so much possible feedback from TTAs in the project session. And as you know, your deadline is the week afterwards. We did that by design. It's not that you have to use the week afterwards, because also you have another exam in the same period. But we give you the flexibility to use the time effectively if you need. And as soon as you can submit your assignment 2 and 3, just do that. and good luck. I hope you like the course. One other thing, so we have as usual, the official course evaluation that will be opened, I believe, one of these days, and stay open until the end of the period. The official evaluation is on Evalytics and has a standard structure. Unfortunately, on Evalytics, we are not allowed to add the evaluation of the teaching assistants and of external lecturers, like for instance, YARI, because they are not in the official database, etc. So what we decided to do, we will share with you an announcement, the link to Evalytics. Probably you will receive on your mailing list anyway, in your email anyway, and we will also share a link to a Google form, very short, in which we ask you to evaluate also your TA and the lecturers. So this will be a couple of questions. But we couldn't avoid not to have two different inputs. So please, especially from all of you that follow regularly the lectures for the whole course, so we really appreciate if you evaluate useful. And that's it. Thank you very much, and see you around.
See you on Thursday.
Thank you also online.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Yuri.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Larry.